everyone, this is Towelliee with TGN.TV, and welcome to Bastion of the Twilight. This is Valiona Theralion, Heroic Mode 25 man, or as other people call them, Twin Dragons, Double Dragons. They have so many names I can't even keep up with anymore. Now, let's get into the strategy here. We basically have the same mechanics as in normal mode with a change to the Twilight Realm, okay? The Twilight Realm actually affects this encounter. All right, you still have Blackout, you still have Devouring Flame, you still have Engulfing Magic, there's still the, Meteor Strike that comes down on you that you have to stack for. Everything stays the same, there's still the Deep Breath that goes on, but there is a Twilight Realm. Now let's discuss the Twilight Realm, because that is pretty much what this is all about, okay? Now, 3 things can send you down there, okay? Dazzling Destruction, which are those swirly things that happen in between the transition from Valiona to Theralion. Deep Breath. If you actually sit in a deep breath, you will get sent down to the Twilight Realm. And the actual Twilight phase effect that the tanks receive. Now, the tanks receive a stack called Twilight Shift. Okay, once you hit 5 stacks, you get sent down to the Twilight Realm. So that's why you use 2 tanks, and you have to actually, keep taunting off each other before you actually hit that 5th stack. If you're a prop paladin, you actually have the advantage of, being in a tight situation. Let's say, there's some sort of emergency and the other tank dies and you're about to get your 5th stack, you can actually bubble it off. That is amazing. That's, one of the perks of being a paladin tank and so many encounters in heroic mode is that you can actually just basically negate some abilities like that and, not cause a wipe and just, have the fight continue. Now, this is what happens down in the Twilight Realm, all right? When you get sent down with the tank, you get a debuff that increases the damage taken in the Twilight Realm by, I think it's like 50%. Might be more, not sure. You might have to Google online what exactly the percentage is. Now, the time that you spend in the Twilight Realm stacks a debuff called Twilight Zone. And by the way, it's very annoying that every debuff ability in this fucking fight has the word Twilight in it. All right. So Twilight Zone, which also significantly increases your damage taken in the Twilight Realm. Now you can actually remove that with Divine Shield if you're a paladin. Like I said, including the 5-stack Twilight shift that the tanks get. Now, Twilight phase debuffs are normally only removed when they reach 5 stacks. Okay. So now when you're in the Twilight Realm, the boss actually remains visible. You'll see that because I actually died, all right, during this encounter, and I got rezzed. Thank you, Druids. Love you guys. Now, the boss still remains visible, and he could be tanked, he could be DPS down there, but now there's these glowing orbs, all right, that appear on the top side when you're not in a Twilight Realm. Those orbs are actually Twilight Sentries. They're actually mobs, NPCs down there, and they spam this ability called Rift Blast, and they need to be killed as soon as possible. That's why you actually have to send people down into the Twilight Realm, okay? They spam this Rift Blast ability, and they could just continuously spawn throughout the encounter of the fight. So you can't just ignore them. You can't just, oh, we're going to kill the boss, we're going to kill him, oh, we're going to ignore the Twilight Realm. No, sentries keep spawning, they keep spawning, and they'll do more Rift damage, which Rift Blast, which equals to more raid damage, okay? Now, there are only 2 things that appear in a Twilight Realm. You have the orbs, which you can be avoided. You'll see a whole bunch of orbs. If they actually hit you, they'll hit you for like 70 or 80,000. So you don't want to get hit by that because you also have the debuff, remember, that makes you take more damage while you're in that realm. Okay? And then you have the collapsing Twilight portals. Those are the portals to get out of there to actually come back to the normal realm, the normal phase up top where everything is happening with the boss and whoever's tanking the dragons, etc. Now, the portals collapse when they reach about the size of the sentry mob. So if you see like a distant portal that doesn't look huge, it will likely despawn by the time you get to it. So try to get to whatever's closest to you. Look around quick. It takes a lot of reaction timing, all right? So here's what we do. Where's the entrance to the room? This way. Okay. So the first dragon is here. We tank Valiona right about here. Okay? Now, her tail is probably like right about here. So we have a few options that we can use when blackout happens. Okay, when blackout happens, we can choose to have the person stand out of the raid and die and get battle res, or we can have the person just stack with the rest of the raid right at the tail, which should be probably around here. So everyone's gonna come here. We're gonna probably use Power Word Barrier. I use my Divine Guardian on the second blackout of every ground phase with Valiona. And that's basically it. When she uses Devouring Breath, just move away from it. Pretty simple, right? Okay, you have to also get away from the dazzling little spiral thingies on the ground. Whatever it's called. What's it called? Dazzling Destruction. Get away from that unless you are the people that are going down into the Twilight Realm. Now, Valiona goes up Theralion lands right around here, probably where the green marker still is. And what I usually do is I tank her right about here, okay? So I'm going to put another marker here. I know these really aren't important, but just to give you an idea of where we stand. So I tank her, head right about here, tail over here, and the rest of the raid is basically spread out around the actual room. Yes, we're going to use all of these. Well, got to use yellow now. Oh, shit, green went away. Where's green? Bam. Where's yellow? Bam. Look at that. I love using this. I'm sorry. I just do these videos just to use these markers. I just love them. So basically, I'm tanking Theralion here. And the raid is basically spread out around. What she does, she'll turn to someone, use a little flame breath animation, and she'll leave a huge circle on the ground. A huge shadow damage dealing circle that you don't want to stand in. And the reason we spread everyone out is that there's a higher chance that she's probably going to pick someone in range. Actually, I think she just picks the ranged people to actually spam that on. And if there's not enough range, I guess maybe she'll just spam it on the melee. I've never actually encountered that problem before. So that's where the range would be. The melee are probably going to be right here where I'm standing. Can I actually use another one? What color have I not used yet? Red. No, I used red. God damn it. I've used all of them. So that's the range. Melee are going to be stacked on the ass of Theralion right here. If anyone gets Meteorite, they quickly just run into the melee because Meteorite is a big splash damage ability, and you don't want to take that by yourself because you're probably going to die. If you're a tank, you could probably run out and use your Mirror of Broken Images trinket, which is basically just, little information. Increases Arcane Fire, Frost, Nature, and Shadow resistances by 400 for 10 seconds. That's only if you're a tank, or if you're actually wearing that trinket, you could probably stand out and use it. But we stack right here on the melee so that we don't actually, kill ourselves with it. And also, if you have Engulfing Magic, you're going to run that out. We have set positions. I've seen most of the range run back here, kind of like where I'm tanking the boss, but like 15, 20 yards away where I won't get hit by it. But basically, you have to run out as soon as possible. And that's basically it. You switch between the air phase and the ground phase. You have to send your melee down into the Twilight Realm. Not melee, excuse me. Send your melee, your range, whoever the raid leader actually assigns to go down. And also, what Valiona will do while Theralion is down, Valiona will do a deep breath. So if you've done a Fell Mist in Snowwell Plateau, there's a deep breath. She will kind of fly here. She will fly to each side. She'll fly right about here. And you'll think that she's going down the middle, but then she'll switch. She'll either go here. She'll either blow a breath south, middle, or north. She'll do it 3 breaths, all right? Each air phase will be 3 breaths, okay? So make sure you have a designated person, who is competent, who can see where she's going to do her fire breath, or her deep breath, excuse me, just so people don't get caught in it and they get sent to the Twilight Realm and probably die, okay? So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that the deep breath is called out. You can either say north, mid, south, south, mid, north. I personally like, the raid leader actually saying where to move to. If I'm tanking the boss right here, and that breath is coming, I'd like, the raid leader just says, tank is fine, boss is fine. That means no one moves. If he yells out, move to the middle, we move to the middle, Middle's not safe. You either move it, north or south, one or the other. But, different guilds do it different ways. I've seen it done north, south, north, middle, south, or, move here, stay, don't move, etc. You can do it any way you want. But, so that's basically the whole encounter. And then you just bounce back and forth. Tanks have to make sure that they're taunting at the correct times with the Twilight Shift debuff. Enough of me yapping and playing around with these markers because I love doing it so much. Let's get right to the action. All right, let's pull this shit. Now, if you're looking up at my buffs there, I don't have Righteous Fury up. I don't want to get some sort of crazy burst in the beginning of the fight, cause trouble, pull off the tank or anything like that. So I always make it a habit when I'm off tanking and I'm not actually tanking anything else to just, leave Righteous Fury off. 30 seconds into the battle, I pop it, so I'm ready for when I have to taunt. Right there, I just had Blackout. We stacked at the ass of the boss. They healed me up until the debuff wore out, and it did the AoE damage splash to everyone. That's why we stack, so we can spread the damage out, and now one person gets gibbed. I think you used to be able to bubble Blackout, but we tried it in the first few attempts, and I died. So I don't think you can bubble Blackout anymore, FYI. I'm trying to get a good camera angle here. So right after he does the Blackout, he'll do the Devouring Breath, where he'll just he'll cock his head back and he'll point in the direction that the breath is going to go, so you know where to run to. So if you're a caster, you should probably just stop casting, stop what you're doing, and just get out of the way. So right there we have another blackout on Nitrogen. He runs into the back of the boss. We have Howard Barrier up. I pop Divine Guardian. Okay, we get through that. Now Mumukin, our main tank warrior, gets 4 stacks of Twilight Shift. So I wait a few seconds. I taunt. There's Devouring Flames, and I start tanking the boss now. This prevents Mumukin from receiving the 5th Twilight Shift stack, which will then send him to the Twilight Realm. We don't want him in the Twilight Realm. We don't want tanks in the Twilight Realm. If we do get there, we have to get the fuck out. Click on the collapsing portal, and here we go. Swirly zones incoming, or dazzling devastation as they call it. I have to actually kite the boss out of it so I don't get sent down. So here we go. She goes up. Theralion's down. I tank her. I take her back a few steps, probably to that line right there, and that's where I tank her for phase 2, or for the ground phase while Theralion is down here. Now, as you can see, the raid is nicely spread out around the boss. That round shadow aura on the ground usually hits the range. That pulsating aura coming from X and square is engulfing magic, as you can see. Cobain had engulfing magic there. He gets into a proper position, not hurting anyone. Very good. I'm not being hit in that. I'm looking at my damage taken. I'm not getting anything from that. Sometimes if you are too close, you could hit the tank if you go back there, but that is a nice safe spot. I'm doing some nice damage here, getting some nice threat on the boss. As you can see, my vengeance is up to 100%, which is not bad as well. And that's basically it. That is basically it, folks. I have the 4th shift on me. At this point, I let the other tank know that I have 4 stacks, and there's about 5 seconds left till I get sent down. And then he goes taunting, and he taunts. There you go. So he taunts the boss, puts him in that position. And now we're going to see the deep breath. Now, luckily, I'm in a position where I'm not tanking anything, and I can actually see the deep breath. I can call it out if needed, if this is the way we do this encounter every single time. So as you can see here, Valiona goes, she's still up there throwing shit down. She does Meteorite during this phase as well. She'll target someone for Meteorite. You have to stack on the ass of the boss on Theralion on the ground to separate or split that damage from everyone else. So here comes Deep Breath. This would be a North call. So she's blowing north. Everyone probably just stay where you are. There's no trouble. We're not in trouble here at all. I'm going to switch camera view so you guys see exactly what's going on. This is going to be... Oh, this is south. We have to move out. We have to move the boss right to the middle of the room. And then we're going to wait for the last call here. Let's see where she's blowing. Oh, not good. Not good. Void zone on the ground. And this one is mid. So we actually have to move. Everyone moves. It doesn't matter if half of the boss is stuck inside of the deep breath. As long as the raid itself is not in the deep breath, they get sent down to the Twilight Realm. Now here we go. Valiona lands down. Now she's targeting me, okay? Now what I have to do is I have to kind of like kite her for a few seconds so I don't get that 5th stack. And now that there's void zones on the ground and people still had engulfing magic, we're going to go back to basically the phase 1, which is tank Valiona on the ground. We have to get ourselves situated. While all this is going on, there's ads in the Twilight Realm. For each little orb you see there, that's an ad in the Twilight Realm. All right? And they're just pulsating with massive amounts of damage. They're using that Rift Blast ability that just does damage to certain members of the raid, and it's just a lot of AoE damage. You have to time your Divine Guardians. You have to time your Tranquilities, your Powered Barriers. You have to make split decisions on these blackouts. Do you want the people to run out, or do you still want to stack and take all that AoE damage? Let's see what we do here. For this blackout, we tell the person to run out. So that person runs out with blackout. It's a rogue, and I think a rogue could cloak it. I'm pretty sure. Use Cloak of Shadows, and they do. Is that what they use? I hope that's what they use, Cloak of Shadows. Now, Devouring Flame. What I do while Devouring Flame is going on, I always make sure I have about 3 combo points available so I can top somebody off in case they get caught behind. So while this is going on, I have the 4th shift. This is where shit gets a little hazy. We're at about 30%, 50 million left. Everyone is up in the raid. As you can see, all those little glowing things right there, those are all sentries. Now, going into the last phase, we have to kill a lot of those sentries out, or else the Rift Blast damage will just be way too much. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's at least like 10 right now. So right now, we send our group to go down under. Or do we send our group to go down under? Doesn't seem like it, huh? No, I don't think we actually sent them down. I'm going to have to double check. Because usually you would see people out of my range. But maybe they're in my range because they are actually down there. Like I said, I'm not exactly 100% sure. But same thing. Engulfing Magic, Meteorite. I know the first time we downed this, we ignored the second phase going down. But I do see some of those Sentry Orbs disappearing. So it does seem like they are DPSing down there. And this is the critical point in the fight. This is where everyone needs to save their cooldowns. Like I said, the Tranquilities, the Power Word Barriers. You don't want people dying in this part of the fight at all. So I made a new mistake. I herp derped it up. Herp derp 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 herp derp 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 herp derp. I herp derp it up, and I have 4 stacks. My stacks are about to fall off. I'm going to taunt off the tank, but I made the big fucking mistake of standing on top of him as he got the 5th stack. Because what happens is if you're standing on the tank while he gets the 5th tank and he gets sent down to the realm, you get sent down to the Twilight Realm too. So here's what happens. Oh, Twilight Realm Towelliee. I'm taking massive amounts of damage. I'm going to hit some sort of orb from moving around. Here we go. Orb hit. I'm going to die. And it's like, LOL, I'm retarded. So incoming B-Res. Now, please. So I get my B-Res. I get my, Righteous Fury up. I get my Seal of Truth up. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to have to eventually taunt off of the tank. Actually, no, he actually just taunt off of me, so he has no stack. So we're good. I'm basically just here for nothing. I just got Battle Res for like a just in case. So we're hitting here 5 million damage. Just so much. Look at all these orbs around. Those are all Rift Sentries. Just murking the shit out of people. Moving out of the Deep Breath at the same time. Kudos to the healers on this fight. Healers did an amazing job. Tanks, minus me, did a great job. I made the mistake of standing on the tank, so that's a good, how not to tank in this fight or what not to do if you're a tank. Keep that in mind. I'm standing next to the Engulfing Magic, no. And we downed the boss. And that's basically Twin Dragons 25-man heroic mode. That's Valiona and Theralion heroic mode 25 in the Bastion of the Twilight. Look at that sweet trinket. Like, that trinket dropped, and, all the casters just basically creamed their pants. And when we go over to check the other dragon, bitch dropped double Fang of Twilight one-hander, which is a pretty nice tanking weapon. It's what I use for tanking. It helps me get to my unhittable status. But this has been Towelliee with TGN.TV. This has been another heroic mode 25-man encounter. Bastion of the Twilight, Valiona Theralion. With the Guild Iron on Kil'jaeden Horde. Twitter.com/TowelTheTank. Facebook.com/Towelliee, my new fan page. HolyShield.com. Visit my live stream. And my UI links are going to be in the description. Subscribe, comment, peace out.